Okay, so crouched at the king's feet is a guy named Unferth. And he will be like one of the earliest haters in all of English literature. Let's find out what he has to say, because he's not too pleased that Beowulf has arrived. All right, Beowulf's coming, his sea braving, made him sick with envy. That's Unferth. He could not brook or abide the fact that anyone else alive under heaven might enjoy greater regard than he did. Are you the Beowulf, and this is him talking with an English accent, are you the Beowulf who took on Breca in a sea match on the open sea, risking the water just to prove you could win? It was sheer vanity made you venture out on the main deep, and no matter who tried, friend or foe, to deflect the pair of you, neither would back down. The sea test obsessed you. You waded in, embracing water, taking its measure, mastering currents, riding on the swell. The ocean swayed. Winter went wild in the waves, but you vied for 7 nights, and then he outswam you. Came ashore the stronger contender. He was cast up safe and sound one morning among the Hethorians, then made his way to where he belonged in Bronding country. Home again, sure on his ground, in strong room and bond. So Breca made good his boast upon you, and was proved right. No matter, therefore, how you may have fared in every bout and battle until now, this time you'll be worsted. No one has ever outlasted an entire night against Grendel. Wow. So Unferth comes up with the story about how Beowulf lost in a swimming match against Breca. Kind of showing him up, saying, oh yeah, you think you're so great? Well, how come you couldn't even beat Breca in a swimming match? The swimming match, by the way, took 7 days. I don't know if you've ever been swimming before, but if you try to swim for 7 days, you'll get tired. All right, how is Beowulf going to react to this kind of trash? Okay, so here's Beowulf's response. Beowulf, Ecgtheow's son, replied, well, friend Unferth, you have had your say about Breca and me, but it was mostly beer that was doing the talking. The truth is this. When the going was heavy in those high waves, I was the strongest swimmer of all. We'd been children together, and we grew up daring ourselves to outdo each other, boasting and urging each other to risk our lives on the sea. And so it turned out. Each of us swam holding a sword, a naked, hard-proofed blade for protection against the whale beasts. But Breca could never move out farther or faster from me than I could manage to move from him. Shoulder to shoulder we struggled on for 5 nights, until the long flow and pitch of the waves, the perishing cold, night falling, and winds from the north drove us apart. The deep boiled up, and its wallowing sent the sea brutes wild. My armor held me to hold out. My hard-ringed chain mail, hand-forged and linked, a fine, close-fitting filigree of gold, kept me safe when some ocean creature pulled me to the bottom. Pinioned fast and swathed in its grip, I was granted one final chance. My sword plunged, and the ordeal was over. Through my own hands, the fury of battle had finished off the sea beast. Time and again, foul things attacked me, lurking and stalking, but I lashed out, gave as good as I got with my sword. My flesh was not for feasting on. There would be no monsters gnawing or gloating over their banquet at the bottom of the sea. Instead, in the morning, mangled and sleeping the sleep of the sword, that means death, they slopped and floated like the ocean's leavings. From now on, sailors would be safe. The deep sea rage were over for good. Light came over from the east, bright guarantee of God, and the waves went quiet. I could see the headlands and buffeted cliffs. Often for undaunted courage, fate spares the man it has not already marked. However, it had occurred. My sword had killed 9 sea monsters. Such night dangers and hard ordeals I have never heard of, nor of a man so desolate in surging waves, but worn out as I was, I survived, came through with my life. The ocean lifted and laid me ashore. I landed safe on the coast of Finland. If you look at a map, like to get from where Beowulf was to Finland is quite a swim. So he's able to claim, hey, you know what? Yeah, I lost the race, but the reason why I lost the race was because I killed 9 sea monsters during the race, whereas Brecca didn't have to do that. All right, he's not done talking, though. Here we go. Now, I cannot recall any fight you entered, Unferth, that bears comparison. I don't boast when I say that neither you nor Brecca ever were much celebrated for swordsmanship or for facing danger in the battlefield. You killed your own kith and kin. Ooh, baby. He just called Unferth a brother killer. And it's true. Unferth killed his own brother. We don't get to know a whole lot of the context in which the situation happened right now, but it's worthy of research, and it's one of the research topics. So for all your cleverness and quick tongue, you will suffer damnation in the pits of hell. The fact is, Unferth, if you were truly as keen or courageous as you claim to be, Grendel would never have got away with such unchecked atrocity. Attacks on your king, havoc in Heorot, and horrors everywhere. But he knows he need never be in dread of your blade making a mizzle of his blood, or of vengeance arriving ever from this quarter. From the victory shieldings, the shoulderers of the spear, he knows he can trample down you Danes to his heart's content, humiliate and murder without fear of reprisal. But he will find me different. I will show him how Geats shape to kill in the heat of battle. Then whoever wants to may go bravely to morning mead, when morning light, scarfed and sun-dazzle, shines forth from the south, and brings another daybreak to the world. Wow, they're so far north that the sun rises in the south. That's pretty north. Okay, so actually, it kind of sounds to me like Beowulf is a little bit disrespectful to the Danes. He's like, hey, Unferth, you want to talk trash? And guess what? If you were half the man that I am, then I wouldn't have to be here saving this kingdom from a monster. You should have been able to do this by yourself. But you Danes are such wimps that I have to come all the way over from the land of the Geats to save your butt. So why don't you just be quiet? Let's see how Hrothgar responds to this. Then the gray-haired treasure-giver was glad. Far famed in battle, the prince of bright Danes and keeper of his people counted on Beowulf, on the warrior's steadfastness and his word. So the laughter started, the din got louder, and the crowd was happy. Wealhtheow came in. Boom, there's our first woman. Wealhtheow is a woman. She is Hrothgar's queen. Observing the courtesies adorned in her gold, she graciously saluted the men in the hall, then handed the cup first to Hrothgar, their homeland's guardian, urging him to drink deep and enjoy it, because he was dear to them. And he drank it down like the warlord he was, with festive cheer. So the helming woman went on her rounds, queenly and dignified, decked out in rings, offering the goblet to all ranks, treating the household and the assembled troop until it was Beowulf's turn to take it from her hand. With measured words she welcomed the Geat and thanked God for granting her wish that a deliverer she could believe in would arrive to ease their afflictions. He accepted the cup, a daunting man, dangerous in action, and eager for it always. He addressed Wealhtheow. Beowulf, son of Ecgtheow, said, I had a fixed purpose when I put out to sea. As I sat in the boat with my band of men, I meant to perform to the uttermost what your people wanted, or perish in the attempt, in the fiend's clutches. And I shall fulfill that purpose, prove myself with a proud deed, or meet my death here in the mead hall. This formal boast by Beowulf, the Geat, pleased the lady well, and she went to sit by Hrothgar, regal and arrayed with gold. Then it was like old times in the echoing hall, proud talk and the people happy, loud and excited, until soon enough Halfdane's heir had to be away to his night's rest. He realized that the demon was going to descend on the hall, that he had plotted all day from dawn light until darkness gathered again over the world, and stealthy nightshades came stealing forth under the cloud murk. The company stood as the two leaders took leave of each other. Hrothgar wished Beowulf health and good luck, named him hall warden, and announced as follows: Never since my hand could hold a shield have I entrusted or given control of the Dane hall to anyone but you. Ward and guard it, for it is the greatest of houses. Be on your mettle now. Keep in mind your fortune. Beware of the enemy. There's nothing you wish for that won't be yours if you win through alive. All right, so Hrothgar and his queen are going to go to bed, and they're going to leave Beowulf in charge of Heorot, knowing that because they just had a party, Grendel will probably show up. I'm going to stop there because that seems like a good place to stop. But I hope you enjoyed the reading, and I can't wait till tomorrow when we find out what goes down between Beowulf and Grendel.